Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of A Wise Man Once Said, coming to you live from Chico, Texas, down here on Kentucky Street. It is the middle of February, 85 degrees right now. 85 degrees, can you believe that?
That is Texas.
8:45 p.m.
The mosquitoes are growing already.
The whole town's starting to shut down around us. 8:45 p.m. We got everything going on in the garage here. I got Kyle Grimes right here on Kentucky Street, born and raised here in Chico, Texas. Just another piece of oil field trash, just trying to float the stream. And I've got my Skinners here to my left and right, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Howdy. Colt Skinner here. I'm an electrical salesman. Been in Chico for quite a bit.
Quite a bit. That's a relative amount of time. Just however long you think he's been here, you're right.
And I'm Gary Skinner. I'm a district manager in the oil field. And I've been here a while.
Been here a while. So they've both been here a while.
Relative.
Once again, however long you think it is.
Well, exactly Einstein said that time was relative, so was space. So
Deep. So here we are. We decided to gather up. We have hamburgers from time to time down here around the kitchen table, and it always turns into a 3-hour discussion. And we decided somebody else needs to either call us on our crap or
get on the boat.
Or get on board and listen to it with us. And so we're going to cover all kinds of stuff from, we'll talk a little politics, we'll talk a little history, talk a little music, talk some video games. We're just going to talk about whatever we feel like talking about because we're in Chico, America, and we do what we want here.
That's about all we have to do. That is about it.
Once again, it is 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and we're sitting in my garage. That's how exciting this life has gotten.
It's a relative term, though.
Absolutely. So Gary and I played in a band together for a while, and we got on an interesting topic right before we kickstarted this thing, and he was talking about recording on something that sounds like it's out of a superhero movie.
Yeah. That was a cassette, a type of a cassette tape called chromium dioxide.
Chromium dioxide.
You had to, the high-end cassette players had a button that said CRO2, and if you had a chromium dioxide cassette, you had to push that button, and you got, higher range, lower range.
Sounds like it'd be bad to breathe in.
Don't eat the CRO2 tapes, kids.
Chromium dioxide.
Chromium dioxide. That's
interesting. And if you didn't have this, what would happen?
You didn't get the full audio experience of the chromium dioxide if you didn't push the button in.
So it sounded like you were recording your stuff in the shower with an acoustic guitar.
It sounds like somebody in a hazmat suit has to come collect from your house. Like, hey, I've got this like asbestos. Nobody knew about asbestos until all of a sudden people started getting what is it, mesothelioma?
Mesothelioma.
Mesothelioma.
Yes.
Stay up late with your kids and watch TV late one night. There's about 400 different ways you can get money if you have mesothelioma.
Oh yeah.
Or if you know someone who.
Yeah. If you or your friends or your neighbors or anybody on Facebook, if you follow somebody on Twitter that has mesothelioma, give us a call. You might be subject to some of
those commercials refer to the auto industry and the shipbuilding industry.
Yeah.
My wife was looking at me like, you've been in all those.
Yeah. You could use that as an excuse. Be like, I really need to mow, but my mesothelioma is acting up today.
I don't know if that makes me itchy or hot or coughing, so I'm just going to do a little bit of all of it to get out of it.
Yeah, just to be fair, I don't research anything I say, so if you go to fact check me, it's very possible that I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. But
I speak only facts. I am the law.
I am the law. So everything I say is relative, so.
Come on,
Einstein
Gary.
theory.
Come on.
You can never get him pinned down because it's always relative.
Yeah, no, well, it all depends on how you take it, okay, and how I'm in it.
Well, that's rhetoric in itself.
That's pretty much, yeah. So Facebook is designed around that exact thing. And so me and my wife had a conversation about this not too long ago about how texting and social media has ruined probably more relationships than it's built on multiple facets. Number one, because you can't send emotion or sarcasm.
Oh, but what about emojis, Kyle?
Oh, emojis.
Yeah, you forgot the emojis.
Say, hey, honey, what'd you think about that dinner? Well, I've got an emoji for that.
Well, it tasted like shit, winky face.
Here's the big pile of poo. But I feel like there's been a strong decline in thoroughbred relationships because you can't send. I'm not talking about just marriages. I'm talking about friendships and church to people relationships or whatever.
That's part of the reason I'm glad we have these conversations. People forget how to interact with everybody because it's so superficial. It's so like their posts, don't go anywhere with them, just like it. And
if nobody likes it, they feel like they have no value. They're like, well, I posted a picture today and only 4 people liked it.
Oh, man.
Oh,
so,
yeah, I'm still not used to that because
you need people to like your
pictures. There are things on there that I can't say I like something
that you don't really like.
Well, it's...
You need a thumbs down button is what you need.
Spit it out, Gary.
Well, no,
I'm hoping this podcast doesn't get too many thumbs down out there listening.
I think a lot of them I empathize with, but I don't like them because I really don't like that sort of thing.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
So you use Facebook super literally. Like, nope. I don't like that, so I'm moving on. Not like, okay. I use it kind of like, I appreciate you posting that. That kind of,
however,
like I'm gonna toss you a like because I really appreciate you posting that.
Sure.
That kind of stuff.
Well, to my dad's credit, he stayed off of Facebook for a long time. He did not want on there.
But once we got him on,
he could not resist the memes. They finally wore him down.
The memes sucked him in.
I'm a sucker for a political argument.
I love that.
Oh, dude.
On that topic, let's talk a little politics. Let's get started with some of that. So, Trump is banning all Muslims. I don't know if you've been paying attention.
Oh, it's not a Muslim ban.
Gary, the state of Washington disagrees.
Well, you would have to add 84 other countries to it to make it a Muslim ban.
It's just countries where radical Muslims are mostly.
Yeah.
So, your stance is that it's justified? You're good with it?
It doesn't matter if it's justified or not. The Constitution gives him the power to do that.
Sure.
And it really doesn't matter if it's a religion or a specific group of people or anything like that. He has that discretionary power.
Right.
Well, it's not like we're the only country that has these. We're not the only ones saying ban countries that we're potentially in threat or at war with.
I think you only need to look as far as Europe.
Sure.
To see what kind of problems can come from this sort of thing.
Their immigration over there has gotten out of hand.
Well,
they could only improve France. All right, they could only improve France. All right, let's throw that out there.
I mean, maybe they could burn it down.
That's an improvement, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's. But as far as the travel restrictions, he has the right to restrict any travel with any group.
Sure, it's no different than a business owner, right? Where they say
we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone.
Sure.
So that's the U.S.'s little sign.
Well,
says, hey,
I
look
think
up here.
Just hang it off of the airport.
Evidently, in some states you can't do that since you can be sued out of business if you don't bake a cake for somebody.
For some gay people, that's I can't believe that ever.
It did happen.
Passed in a courtroom. Speaking of, the state of Washington sued Donald J. Trump because of this quote unquote Muslim ban, and they got it thrown out in federal court.
Well, you have to show damages if you're going to sue somebody, and you can't project what damages might be. You actually have to show the invoice. Okay,
but they did. That's exactly what they did. They had a young hotshot lawyer in there, and they were talking about a lot of their basis was on universities. So, like Washington State and University of Washington, and all the research they do and all of the immigrants that they bring in on school visas, that's a source of revenue that you are cutting off. And so the defendant, Trump's hotshot lawyer, was saying exactly what you're saying, was that you're talking about trickling way down the line on something that hypothetically something they might spend money on while they're here, maybe. Mm-hmm. And so then they brought up about their researchers that are already overseas, and it was like a guillotine ban. He was like, okay, shing, no more right now. And so they have all these researchers that are overseas, and they can't come back to the school. Teachers and stuff that are out doing research in other countries, and they can't make it back because they're all on visas too. They're not citizens. And it blew my mind apart that any of that would hold up in federal court. Now, once again, I don't read, so I don't know how to back any of that up. But that's the whole thing. I don't know what to.
Well, here's another thing I've seen that just to maybe put it a little in perspective. Most of these countries that he's banned also has a ban on the Jewish people themselves. Mm-hmm. So
Jews.
They're if they're gonna say we're the victim, then you're basically doing that to just a different.
It's most of the outcry though is coming domestically here though.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like a kid taking a toy from another kid, and then another kid taking that toy.
Yeah, you took my stolen.
And then throwing a fit about it. Like,
sure.
Well, you just did the same thing, and you expected everybody to just be cool with it.
And we know Jimmy Carter did a complete travel ban on Iran.
We don't. I
believe it was 1979. There was Iran took hostages, American hostages, and then
I was 7 years in the red when Jimmy Carter was calling the shots.
Those were terrible times.
Iran,
terrible times.
There it is, right there.
Crisis,
Iran hostage crisis. Well, hold on. Let's read that. What does that say? The Iran hostage crisis was a diplomatic standoff between Iran and the U.S. Is that Cold War-ish kind of standoff?
It was during that era, but Iran had nothing to do with
the nukes.
Right. Now they have them, but
that's a whole nother. I don't want to get
different deal.
I don't want to get too deep into the political hole here. That's cool. 52 American diplomats, and what does that say? And citizens were held hostage for 444 days in November 4th, 1979.
There were.
They kept them for 3 months. Do you see that? November to January. November 4th to January 20th.
No, hold on.
That's
444 days. That's a year.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I was going to say 3 years, but I don't read and I don't do math.
A botched hostage rescue attempt during that time, too. Somehow or other, the choppers crashed out in the desert.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Forgot to fuel them up.
Yeah. I don't know what it was.
There's no place in Iran to get some fuel. Come on.
We know where it comes from.
Hashtag Bush started 9/11.
No, but as far as that goes, he's fully within his constitutional powers.
Well, it's slightly ironic that the colleges are the ones that brought it up, and now now that kept their people from coming back. I mean,
they've been throwing a lot of fits lately. It's a bad time.
It's kind of a recurring theme, actually.
Kyle. Don't you know that's how you get your way nowadays?
You just kick and scream.
If you cry about it and walk into traffic, then you'll be heard.
Any kids listening, that's not the right way.
Oh, well, the
grown-ups think so, but
would beg to differ.
That's also, though, the kind of I forgot what I was going to say.
Wah, wah, wah. I need to get a soundboard on this thing.
We'll add that in post.
So I've noticed, I turned 30 this year. All right, I'm really starting to feel like I'm on the downhill slide of this thing. But sitting on.
Well, that makes me feel good.
Well,
Kyle.
I'm just. You kind of hit level ground, so you went up the hill and down the hill, and now you're just kind of coasting out the ride. I think.
You're not quite old enough to complain about it yet, but you can see it coming. It's like I can't go left or right. I'm headed right down old path.
That's exactly what I feel. I feel like I'm not old enough for anybody to care what I'm complaining about.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just old enough to have some things to complain about.
And you're at that weird age too, where all the young people are like, "Oh, Kyle Grimes, that dude is old as dirt."
He's an old guy.
And then the old people say, "Oh, you're young."
Yeah. If I showed up to a high school party today, they'd be like, "Dude, who's the old guy?"
Who is
But if I walk into the VFW, it'd be like, "Who's this youngster over here? Huh? Who's this, you little whippersnapper?" And so I'm riding this line, but But I feel like my body's kind of given up on me a little bit, and it may have something to do with my terrible diet. The fact that I dip a can of snuff a day. But
that's not good for you, Kyle.
I feel like So the story goes.
He's ignoring me.
It's because you sounded a lot like my dad there for a second. So the story goes, and we talked about this earlier while we were kind of
Tobacco's not good for you.
Getting prepared for this. Eat your broccoli, Kyle. Eat your broccoli. But I was sitting on the toilet the other day, and this is a not suitable for work warning here, but I looked down. I'd been at work all day. And I looked down, and there was a little skid mark in my undies down there. And I said, where did that come from? Because I had not been to the bathroom all day long. And so I kind of felt like I'd been betrayed.
That may have been your first problem.
That I hadn't been, maybe.
Yeah. Somebody's trying to peek out.
My body was saying, well, hey, do you got to go to the bathroom? Well, you're going. That's kind of the...
Hey. Whenever you get old,
I feel like it's kind of starting to give up on me. I don't know what's, things hurt.
Well, you can only sit on something for so long before you just break it. So maybe you've broken your ass.
That's true. I can't argue with that a bit. No, I have no retort for that.
Maybe you've worked it off, is what it is. You've worked it so hard.
Was there a bumpy leash road involved in this?
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
A couple of tacos.
Don't try and hold it and go down that road to Copano over in Montague. Because you won't make it.
That's right.
This is kind of keeping on the poop theme here, but I'm going to tell you a funny story that a guy told me. I worked with this guy named Gerald Bird for a pretty good long while. One of the greatest dudes I've ever met in my life. But he was our gang pusher when I was
Gerald Bird.
Shout out G Bird, Becky Bird, Becky with an I, Bird with a Y. So he was my gang pusher, and so we did a lot of riding around together. We drove all around Cleburne and Azle area, DFW, and he told me this story once. He grew up in Hobbs, New Mexico.
I know it.
And the worst place on earth. Hobbs, New Mexico is the worst place on earth. I don't know if you've ever been out there, but it stinks, and it's just it looks like something out of what's the video game that's just like post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland. Fallout. It looks
like Fallout with no buildings.
Yes.
Oh, this must be where they did The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, but without the hills. Yeah, it's like the foxholes have rabies. But anyway, he was driving with his son. I don't remember how old his son was at the time, but they were driving out to New Mexico, and I may have told y'all this story before, but all you people listening out there, y'all hadn't heard this story. But anyway, they were driving down to New Mexico, and I forgot where he said they'd stopped and ate, but they had stopped and ate something that is pretty standard for making some disgusting farts.
Taco Casa.
And so he had been, while they were eating, maybe, shout out Taco Casa. Anyway, they were headed out west, and the whole time, Gerald was talking to his son, and he was high school age, and he was telling him, he said, hey, when we get past this certain point, no matter what you do, don't roll the window down. He said, because the H2S and the smell in the air is just overbearing, and we will crash.
Yeah. That H2S, that rotten egg, kill you smell.
Stinky. And so anyway, he had been telling him this whole story, knowing this whole time that he had this disgusting fart building up. Okay? And so they're driving out west, just them out on the highway on I-20 headed west. And he just kind of leans over and just lets this thing go. He said it was silent and it was beautiful. And he said in like 10 seconds, his son starts absolutely losing his mind. Just, oh, God, Dad, is that it? He's like, son, that's the smell. That's the smell. Don't roll the window down. No matter what you do, don't roll the window down. He said he's got tears and snot running down his face. And the whole time, old G-Bird said he's just dying laughing. But whatever you do, don't roll the window down. It's way worse outside of here. It's way worse. If you let all that in, we won't be able to stand it. And it killed me.
I was keeping that fart locked down in the truck with it.
But just the forethought to say, watch this. I'm going to make him sit here and sniff up this whole fart. made me really.
He's a criminal
really
mastermind.
laugh.
Evil genius is that.
Yeah, how far is it out there to Hobbs? That's a long ride with a trapped fart in there. Good old Texas, where you can drive for 8 hours in the same direction and never cross a state line. Have you ever talked to anybody that's traveling? We had some people that we talked to the other day. They were coming from California, driving to Alabama. And
I had a terrible road trip to California. But
did you?
Yeah.
We can talk about that. They had.
That is a 6-hour drive from Decatur to Hobbs, New Mexico.
6 hours. You can drive 6 hours due west and make it to the very, very eastern edge of New Mexico.
Oh, yeah, it's barely
New Mexico, yeah. It's almost Texas is what we like to call it. But they had talked about how much time they were making. I forgot who they were meeting, but they had left California, and they were driving across Arizona and New Mexico and all that. And they said, man, we're making great time.
That's right. That was Junior. Junior, Dad.
Oh,
whenever they were driving to Mississippi. Yeah,
it was you.
Yeah, they came out of California. They're making it through. They're like, man, we've already knocked down like 3 states. We are making the best time.
We're going to be there in no time.
We're going to be there in no time.
And then they got to Texas.
And they were like, we were there for like 2 days, and we never got out of the state.
You come in the state clean shaven, you leave with a beard. That's if you drive the whole time. Yeah, it's crazy. I love it here. I love being able to call so many people fellow Texans.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
We don't see a lot of the problems here that, I noticed this watching, listening to other podcasts and watching kind of national news and all the people that are upset all the time and mad and people shooting each other and all that kind of stuff. Not a whole lot of that happens. No. I mean, in the in the DFW area down Austin,
Austin, Dallas. It's kind of a different vibe there than the rest of the state for the majority.
Right.
Yeah, because the majority of the state, I mean, there's a lot of wide open spaces.
Wide open spaces. Shout out Dixie Chicks.
My phone's going off. Just kidding.
The per capita gun ownership.
Hold on, we can't pass up that it's 2017 and he's still faking rocking the Dixie Chicks ringtone. That's so great.
On a Galaxy S5.
S5. That's like an antique.
Yeah, by today's standards, it's. I'm keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Hashtag keeping it real right here on a Wise Man Once Said podcast. Go ahead with your story. I'm sorry about. Sorry.
What was my story?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
we were talking. Oh, we were talking about.
You made a drive to California.
You did a drive-by to California. No, we were talking about the.
Texas.
Yeah,
Texas,
how great it is to live in Texas.
And per capita gun ownership outside of these metropolitan areas is astonishing.
We are heavily armed. That's a fact. Yeah.
What is it now? Is it 5 to every person? 5 guns?
I thought it was 4.
That's worth a Google.
I thought it was. Oh yeah.
That's worth a Google. That would be
It's worth a Google.
Google it. That's worth a Google. That's an extremely high number. I would not think 5. That's. I feel like that's a lot of guns. 5 guns.
I feel like that's nowhere close to enough.
No, I'm not a hunter. These guys are hunters. I don't hunt. I own one gun, so you can't get in my house, free of pain. But I don't hunt. I've never been hunting. I feel like you have every right in the world. Constitution gave you 100% rights to keep bears in your arms. Is that it? You can hug all the bears you want.
Keeping bear arms.
You can hug all the bears you want. That's what the Constitution says.
Let me read this off real quick here. It is estimated that Texans own around 51 million firearms.
51.
That's more firearms than owned by the 300 million people that make up the 15 nations of the European Union.
That's nuts. 51 million guns. How many people live in Texas?
That's worth a Google.
Google that, Colt. Colt's our research machine over here. And just a fair warning, we don't get past page 1 on a Google search. And so if the fact happens to be on page 2, we're fixing to dish out some BS because
it doesn't exist.
We are 27.47 million. That's 1.2 guns per person, per human in Texas. 27.45 million.
Well,
circa 2015. So that's 2. That's 2 point something. 51 million. Almost 2.
Well, and that doesn't count bows, crossbows.
Yeah, and that is counting.
That is
counting children.
We got popcorn shrimp,
and unfortunately,
shrimp kebabs, shrimp po' boys.
Dude, I think the lethality of a bow is way overlooked.
I agree. And how sneaky can you be with a bow?
Deadly. They've killed a lot of stuff with a bow over the past millennia.
I think the big hang-up with a bow is how close you got to be. That is, if you're hunting with a bow, you're pretty intimate with whatever you're fixing to kill.
Yeah.
You're right up next to it. Do people kill bears with bows? Is that a thing?
Yeah. They've got a larger set than most people do, but yeah. But
you won't catch me doing that.
Yeah. So, one of my bucket list items is I want to kill a wolf.
With a knife?
Yeah, with my bare hands.
My mitts.
I know you've got to go up to one of those wolf housing countries or states, Wyoming, maybe.
Now, if you're willing to settle, we can do this with a coyote. I mean, it's way... You got to give up a little bit, but we can make it happen like next week.
How cool is a coyote mount when somebody walks in your house? Like, hey, what's
we
this?
Can tell the mounter, hey, fluff it up a little bit. Make it look
fluff it up
make it look like a more wolfy.
Well, that's worth a Snapchat. But I want to kill a wolf. I just feel like
you want a predator hunt.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun now.
I feel like it would be the biggest adrenaline rush anybody could ever have is hunting something that could kill you easily.
Yeah.
So, I can't think of anything that could be more bananas than that, than walking out into the snow-covered wilderness into something else's territory. Now, like hunting deer and stuff, you're in their territory, but
they're not really a threat to you.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of guys getting boxed in the face by a couple, some of the
horned by the buck and stuff.
Right.
For the most part.
But something that could. Oh, that brings up a. But anyway, something that could kill you.
Bears, man.
Did you see the video of the guy that got attacked by the bear? Did you see that on YouTube? There was a guy. Now he's got to be the baddest dude alive because he got attacked by this bear.
Was it Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie?
Dude, he got attacked for like 5 minutes by a bear. Like, he got whooped on. And I'm sure it was just for cinema. Have you seen that movie? What's it called?
The Revenant.
The Revenant, yeah. He got beat on for a while by this bear. This guy, he was out. I don't remember where they were, but he got attacked by a bear, and he got away from it. And so he makes a Facebook video. Like the very first thing he does, he makes this Facebook video, and his ears like hanging off. And
I did see that. I did see that.
Wrecked, and he's just like, you know, I got a little cut on my face here, and I think my ear's gone, and I got I think I broke my leg over here, and but my brain's good, and my lungs are good. And I'm gonna walk back to the truck now, and
well, that's a glass half full kind of guy.
Well, I'm telling you, no, if there was ever an optimist,
that guy had the inner strength of Job running through his veins.
I don't know what it was, but he was just so calm and cool about it. He was just like, yeah, my ear's dangling off over here, and got a little blood in my eyes, and
yes, I did.
Legs broke and arms broke, but all in all, we're not too bad, and we're gonna make our way out of this woods.
People have come away worse from a bear.
Yeah, how nuts! Yeah, how nuts!
Oh,
have you seen that movie? It was nothing like that movie.
There's one where this guy's riding a bicycle through the woods, and a grizzly starts chasing him, and he's got a GoPro on.
No.
Yes, so you can watch this. He's going as fast as he can, and he keeps looking back, and that
bears are very fast. They look like they're just these fat, big balls of fur that could scratch you, but they run very fast, and they'll break right through little small trees.
That brings up my other hunting video. I don't know why I watch hunting videos. I don't hunt, but they're fascinating to me.
Just glassing, bro.
I'm just glassing. Yeah, shout out to your mom's house. This dude was in a tree stand, hunting bear with I don't know if he was hunting bear or if he was hunting elk or something, where bears live. But he was in a tree stand with a bow, and he was videoing this bear walking around underneath the tree he was in. And then, just like the snap of a finger, he pulls the camera up like this, and the bear's above him. Like, this thing climbed the tree insanely fast. Do they all? Is that?
Oh, yeah.
They are fast.
They climb?
Oh, yeah. They'll climb up. They'll Winnie the Pooh their ass up there for whatever they want.
Those things are huge. And he was up there super quick. There was, if he wanted to kill that guy, there was nothing he could have done.
Right.
That blew my mind apart. Now, I don't hunt, like I say. Once again, I don't research any of this. I just dish out what the internet provides. Scrolling through Facebook, I see a dude with a mod face. I'm fixing to hit play. What are you looking over there at? What are we?
Oh, nothing. I was burping outside the microphone.
Oh, okay. Right on. Appreciate that.
Yeah, well.
I feel like I could smell it through this one. If you burped into that one, I'd just what?
What, we're using cups and string here?
Don't roll the window down. Don't roll the window down. It's way worse outside here.
That smell.
It's way worse outside of here. That's so bananas. So what's going on in the surrounding area? Is there anything big going on in Wise County tonight?
Well, other than people getting shot in Bridgeport?
Yeah, this guy got shot.
More importantly, it's our first podcast happening, so that's pretty big.
First podcast going on the ground right here. We are.
What about the shooting in Bridgeport?
I don't know how long this has been running, honestly.
That's fine.
Did it quit?
No, we're still running. We're almost 30 minutes in.
Really?
That's good. Time flies.
Time flies when you're dishing out good content.
I guess
what I'm saying?
There was a shooting?
Yeah.
Bridgeport?
Yeah.
Let's keep if we know any names, let's not drop any names.
Yeah, all I know is that this guy entered a neighbor's home and was shot. That's what it said.
So the paper today said that there had been an ongoing dispute between these guys. And then, I guess there was some history. It wasn't random.
He wanted a cup of sugar. The guy told him to get the hell out.
He gave him half a cup of powdered sugar, and he could not deal with that. Yeah, so apparently these guys hadn't been getting along for quite some time, and it went to blows. One of those 51 million firearms got turned loose here, so it's gun control time,
We have a gun control problem.
Well, I wish I had more information on the story to chime in, but I just don't know.
Oh, no, that's fine.
the things of it. But as far as if you threaten somebody, come onto their property, you're fair game in my book, as far as I'm concerned.
You bet. Yeah, but this was I think he was killed in his own home.
Oh, well then.
That somebody,
That's not cool.
He had been in kind of like Hatfields and McCoy's type dispute.
That's what it sounds like. Is a
and
feud.
So the guy entered the victim's home and shot him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's all. That kind of changes the whole dynamic.
Once again, I haven't seen police reports or anything, so don't quote me on that.
No facts have been verified in this
Get
report.
that bright light off of me. I don't know anything. All I know is what's on the Facebook version of the update. That's all I know. It's about 3 sentences.
It was really short.
Yeah, that's
really
all the
short.
information I've got.
Maybe they're keeping it under wraps till they figure out.
If
more.
you buy the paper, you can read the whole story.
Probably.
I'm
if you pay
surprised there's still a
$1.99 a
paper.
month, you can.
No, well, you
have gone the way
can
of the
get
dodo.
digital copy, but you still got to subscribe to it.
Yeah, well, how much? It's like $1.99 a month or $1.99 a week, something like that.
Something like that.
Like it's not expensive to have newspaper access, but
Yeah, but it's you pay for everything. You pay for radio. You pay for internet access. You pay for.
I think most people probably still pay for the paper to see the sports, the local
sports,
local photographers. People love to see their grandkids in them.
Sure.
They'll cost up that $1.99 every week.
maybe I'm the only person that does this. I'm sure I'm not, because if you notice when you walk into like a gas station or convenience store, the top newspaper has always been ruffled through. You can tell somebody's been up in that newspaper. And so I do the same thing. I just pick it up and kind of flip through it. I'm like, oh, okay, got my news. And I just set it back down. I don't even remember the last time I
so
bought.
people don't have to pay for it. They just like, I finished reading this.
I don't know if that's against the law.
That's
or what.
why a lot of the stations have a sign that says "No free reading."
No free read. Is that a thing? Is that really a thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Dude, I for 10 years I've been free reading
Barnes
that
and
newspaper.
Nobles would be out of business because I know I've seen people that sit in there all day and read.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't that make you mad as the clerk? You're sitting up there watching this guy, and he goes and pulls out a Harry Potter novel that's this thick, and just sits down on the couch and just starts.
Well, I mean,
and he gets to the end, and he's just like, nah,
not for me. Maybe the next one in the series will be for me.
Let's begin The Hobbit, shall we?
Slams this massive encyclopedia-like book down, and just like, I'm just gonna give it.
This is volume 1. So.
I'm gonna give it 15 pages just to see what happens.
I think Barnes and Nobles is cool with it though, because they have
put a coffee shop in there,
a Starbucks, and all that.
That's true. They do have other sources of revenue. Cool. Yeah, but I'm sure, I don't know. Are books still their number one source of income?
They were doing CDs and DVDs too. They started doing that for a while.
Yeah, but that's not even a thing.
That's what I was gonna say. Or CDs.
Well,
my father-in-law still rocks CDs. I've tried to hook him up with some online streaming radio multiple times, and he's got his CDs that he wants to listen to, and that's it.
Yeah. Fixation on one type of medium.
What was the name of that? There used to be a store that was kind of like Barnes & Noble, but it was there was no books. It was just all like entertainment stuff. And they're no longer around. What's it called? Hastings.
Oh,
Hastings.
yeah.
Do you remember Hastings? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I bought mine. You remember whenever the Wii came out, and they were like hard to get, nobody could find them?
Hastings had a Wii?
We drove around and Hastings had a Wii.
Hastings had a Wii.
Yeah, saved Christmas with the Wii.
You probably saved Hastings buying a Wii. That's probably the first thing they'd sold in a minute.
Well, those business models come and go. I was reading a book the other day in
Gary reads. The rest of us don't read.
Yeah,
Gary
I was
read.
actually reading a paper book.
What?
Yes.
Did you find that at a museum?
No, it was a current published. I bought it off Amazon,
Oh, right on.
But no, in 1997, Kodak had 150,000 employees, was a worldwide company.
Kodak, the film?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
2 years later, they didn't exist.
Really? Is it? I mean, I guess when digital photography came out?
It was. And, they had made a choice because the profit on a digital photo at the time was about a nickel on the dollar, whereas the profit margin on the film or photo paper was like 75 cents on the dollar.
Oh, wow.
And they stuck with it, but it didn't work out, you know.
Man, we have, look at us sitting right here. We're talking into these stupid microphones in my garage, fixing to throw it up on the YouTubes for anybody and everybody to see.
And iTunes, hopefully.
And iTunes, we're gonna put this stuff on iTunes.
That's how I listen to my news and stuff mostly.
So most of the ones I like to listen to, they video them also, and they stream on YouTube Live. And so I think we're gonna go that route. If I can figure out. You know, I have to clean my garage a little bit, I think.
And we don't really have a camera, so hopefully there's a lot of memory on that iPhone you got.
Does it? Oh, I've got a camera. I've got a JVC, bud.
Oh.
With a.
Oh, that's right. You do have one.
It's got a 320 gigabyte.
It's got like 30 seconds
SD card.
of band footage on it.
Yeah. It's got Gary sitting right there strumming out something we were going to enter him in a contest that we never did.
Yeah, that never did materialize. I don't know, when they start having rules and stuff, it just messes me up.
I would be famous if it weren't for the rules.
The rules, the man.
The man holding you down. That's funny. All right, well, I think episode 1 is,
It's about as successful as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think it went pretty well.
I think a little edit and you're good.
Yeah.
We don't have a wise man once said quote, Colt. You need to.
Oh, no, I have one in my head.
Here we go. Colt's gonna.
First one.
We're gonna close every episode with just a little nugget, a nice little nugget of knowledge for you to take with you for your week. And the next we're gonna try to run these probably. I mean, this was a comfortable 30 minutes. I mean, pretty quick.
Pretty easy.
So we'll probably run 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, once a week.
Yeah. We'll find a day to post these things.
Look for us on the interwebs.
Look for us out there on the web.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah, just a couple of hillbillies
in the
here.
wide world web.
The wide world web. I don't trust them. They're watching me through the interwebs.
It was a government program, I tell you.
If it weren't for Al Gore, this wouldn't be possible. So shout out to Al Gore.
Shout out to Al Gore. I haven't heard that name in a while.
So let's hear this quote, dude. What do you got?
All right, so we'll leave us off on this quote. Let's see. A wise man once said, "Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime."
Bam.
Bam.
All
Stay
right,
classy,
folks.
Wise County.
We'll see you next week.
Next week.
Bye-bye.